Welcome back, bingers, for another brand new video about that show that gave us 11 seasons of murder and mayhem, The Walking Dead. Warning, beyond this point there are spoilers for people who are not up to date in the Walking Dead television universe and the Image comic books. In this video, we're going to give you part 2 of our Rampage rankings of The Walking Dead's 50 most important characters versus their comic book counterparts. We're going to look at each character's first and last moments and talk about what they did in between to decide who is the better version. Once again, the list isn't in any specific order. We're not making a list of which survivor is the best, we're making a list of who is a better version of that survivor. That means no TV or comic only characters. Sorry dog. Now, let's get right into our rankings.
Rampage.
Number 26 starts our list back off with an all-time fan favorite, Glenn. In both the comics and the show, Glenn's first and last moments were almost exactly identical, but what happened in between was a little different. All in all, TV series Glenn was a little bit tougher and he had something no other character ever got, a magic dumpster. This one goes to the television version. Number 27 was pretty much doomed from the start because she was a doctor. They don't last long in the apocalypse. Denise first showed up in the series after Pete died. She went to medical school and was the only choice. In the comics, Denise was introduced as one of Alexandria's doctors and was in a relationship with Heath. Denise's TV doppelganger ended up being with Tara and got a very unexpected death that was meant for Abraham. Comic Denise lived longer but died after she refused to amputate her arm so she could use that arm to save Heath's life. It's for that reason the comic imagining of this character ends up the winner. Number 28 was one bad MF in both universes, the Governor. The comic version doesn't waste a lot of time before revealing he's a f***ed up individual and actually cuts Rick's hand off when they first meet. The Governor in the show has a slower descent into madness, although in the end, both end up decapitating someone at the prison. The comic version was betrayed by his own people after he had Lori and baby Judith gunned down. It's because the comic version is a worse person and the Governor is a bad guy that the on-paper iteration wins here. Number 29 on the list became a fan favorite amongst next-gen characters, Connie. In the comics, she is basically a red shirt introduced with Magna's group and last seen helping load bodies, but the deaf actress really made the most out of her character on screen as Daryl's love interest and Dog's adopted mommy. We really don't need to say anything else. TV show Connie wins here by a landslide. Number 30 came in late to the game, but still made a difference. Mercer's introduction was similar in the comics, and on television, both end up with Princess and both help overthrow the government. It's because the comic counterpart takes the Governor more effectively and without needing to find out about concentration camps that we award this round to the comic character. Number 31 is 30's better half, Princess. The colorful character had a great intro in the books and on the small screen, and both got their happy endings. This one's basically a draw, except the comic versioning got a 25-year time jump and had a dog with Mercer, which gives her a slight edge. Once again, the comic version is the victor. Number 32 is a Day 1 campsite crew OG, Dale. In the TV series and comic book, they are both introduced in similar forgettable ways, although the printed version doesn't waste any time in telling Rick that Shane is not a good dude. The TV doppelganger had some powerful scenes, but died early on with a brutal death on the farm. The comic Dale made it to the prison and was one of the leaders. It's because of this we have to give another round to the comic counterpart. Lucky number 33 did not have the most Walking Dead luck, but we love the big guy anyway. Abraham's intro with Eugene and Rosita was nearly identical in both iterations of this character. TV Abraham lasted longer and got Glenn's comic death until Glenn got it too. Comic Abraham was a solid character, but Michael Cudlitz made Abraham iconic and the winner of this matchup. Number 34 is a member of TWD's royal family, Lori Grimes. The original matriarch of the Grimes, Lori got a lot of heat for her relationship with Shane when she thought Rick was dead. Their intros were pretty similar, but their deaths were a lot different. Comic Lori lasted longer but died running with Judith in her arms. It's for that reason we have to give this one to the television imagining of Lori. Number 35 is another next-gen character, Luke. Like Connie, Luke is a comic book red shirt, but the TV series version got a lot more love. In the books, Luke's head ends up on a pike pretty early on, while TV Luke makes it to the last episode. He also got a girlfriend and was good for more than a few laughs. It's for this reason another round goes to the TV counterpart. Number 36 wasn't around for too long, but she was kind of important to the big guy, RG. Jesse showed up when the gang became a part of Alexandria, and both versions had a thing with Rick. Both were abused by their husbands and then later saw Rick kill him, and both died in the Alexandrian herd. The one big difference between these characters is that TV Jesse had to watch 2 kids die, so we'll give this match to the comic books. Number 37 is the rare TWD man of faith, Father Gabriel. Both variants of this character were introduced similarly on the road after the prison fell. The comic Gabe makes it through some shit but dies during the Whisperer War, while TV Gabriel goes the distance and becomes super tough. He also had a relationship with Jadis and Rosita. Overall, the on-screen version of the Preacher had much more depth and wins this matchup pretty easily. Number 38 starts the bottom half of today's list, Sebastian Milton. In both variations of this spoiled rich kid, he's introduced similarly. It's his ending in the TV series that was a lot different and unexpected. Comic Sebastian ended up killing the TWD God-tier survivor Rick Grimes and spent the rest of his life in jail, but he was a better bad guy than this dude, so the comic version takes the cake here. Number 39 is a literal big bad, Beta. Both are Alpha's right-hand man, and both take over the Whisperers after Alpha is decapitated. The comic version lasted a little longer than the TV counterpart, but the one big difference was that TV Beta was a singer while the comic counterpart was an NBA player. Ryan Hurst just brought Beta alive, and for that reason we give this match to the television variation of Alpha's Beta. The 40th character we want to talk about has a face you'll never forget, Dwight. In the comic book, he's introduced as a savior and a mean dude, but in the TV series his introduction is more conflicted as he's on the run and his face is still intact. Both characters are helpful with Negan's downfall, and both characters start off with Sherry. All in all, Dwight left the series pretty early, while comic book Dwight stuck it out until the end. Well, almost, until he forced Rick to blow his brains out by trying to overthrow the CW's government prematurely. Even though he got killed, we still gotta give this matchup to the comic book iteration of Dwight. Number 41 is Dwight's other half, and part of one of the few pre-apocalyptic marriages who keep it going after the world ends. Well, until Negan gets in the middle. In the TV show, Sherry was barely more than a red shirt once All Out War started, while Sherry in the comics eventually ended up leading the Saviors, until she pushed Rick too far and he had to end her. Although Dwight and Sherry got a honeymoon on Fear, their comic counterparts were more central to that universe, even if Rick had to kill them both. Number 42 came in during the prison storyline, but didn't last too long, Bob. In the comics and show, Bob was a former army medic, and in the print version he was Woodbury's town drunk, but he did end up saving the governor's life. The TV version ended up being the last meal for the Terminus group and died from his bite, while the book Bob disappeared from the comics and got a long story through one of the Woodbury novels. It's for that reason we give another round to the comic character. Number 43 is the first politician we meet from the Commonwealth, Lance Hornsby. Both characters are kind of Weasley bureaucrats, but the TV version is a lot darker with Black Ops teams, concentration camps, and plans to overthrow the governor. The comic Hornsby gets taken into custody during the coup, but is later freed and assumed alive by the end of the series. Even though the TV iteration of Lance dies, he is definitely the worst bad guy, so TV Hornsby is the winner here. Number 44 is an OG Alexandrian, Heath. In both universes, Heath is a loyal survivor and fights for his people. The big difference is that TV Heath disappeared forever with no explanation, and comic Heath got his leg blown off and still fought all the way until the end. It's for that reason we have to give this matchup to the comic version. Number 45 on our list is a fan favorite, Rosita. In the comics and show, her intro was basically identical, but comic Rosita ended up marrying Eugene and then cheating on him before she ended up being a fence decoration. TV series Rosita made it all the way to the last episode, had a baby, and gave us one of the saddest goodbyes ever. The television imagining of Ro wins here easily. Number 46, and rounding off the last 5 on the list, is Carol. Both variants of this character had a forgettable introduction, but that's where the paths split. TV Carol had Daryl and went through an intense and heartbreaking journey, while comic Carol decides to give up and let a walker bite her in the prison. Although the TV doppelganger lost her daughter and her adopted son, she still had a way better story and wins this round by a country mile. Number 47 is an OG from Herschel's farm, Maggie. Her characters get the same intro in both universes and both make it to the end, but comic Maggie becomes the fucking president. TV series Maggie also left during a crucial time when Rick was gone, so this match goes to the comic book character. Number 48 is the son of number 47, Herschel Reed. Named after his OG grandpa, this character has similar introductions as a toddler in both variations. TV series Herschel gets some key moments with Negan in the final season that we never get with the comic version. In the long time jump in the comics last issue, we find out that Herschel grew up to be a total tool. If Carl doesn't approve, we don't approve. TV Herschel gets the victory on this one. Number 49, and our second to last ranking, is a character you may have forgotten about, but Carl sure didn't, Sophia. In the TV show, Sophia's intro isn't really memorable, although her disappearance is the main plot of Season 2A. Sadly, Sophia doesn't make it in the show, but in the book, she is a strong-willed survivor that ends up happy with Carl and their daughter Andrea at the very end. It's for that reason comic Sophia wins here. The 50th and last spot on our list goes to a character with a special place in our heart. Carl Grimes has a forgettable intro in both universes as he is a soft little kid in the apocalypse. Over the next few years, Carl becomes tough as nails in both versions. The big difference between the two characters? Scott Gimple. The TV show version of Carl got an unexpected and poorly planned demise, while comic Carl went the distance and made sure nobody ever forgot about the Grimes family in that universe. For obvious reasons, the comic counterpart of Carl is clearly the victor. For honorable mention, we have Shiva, Pete, and Ed. What do you think? Which characters were we wrong about? Who did we miss? That's it for part 2 of our Rampage rankings, everyone. By our count, the TV characters have squeaked out a narrow victory by winning 27 versus 23 comic character wins. Is the TV show better than the comics? Well, that's a different list, people. Thanks so much for watching our videos, everyone. As always, we're on the lookout for any new promos or insider info to help prove or disprove all the rumors and theories out there about our favorite show that taught us that there was more to living than surviving, The Walking Dead. Please let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok at Binge Rampage. Click the notifications bell for our channel so you can see our next video as soon as it comes out, and don't forget to subscribe.
What happens next? It's your fault. Welcome to the new world.